No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Monday to you. Welcoming into a blue and orange store edition, Monday edition of Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. It's Monday, and that means what better way than to start your week off with Mike Prater here on Bronco Nation News. You're there in the KTIK Ropain studios. I'm here in the Cutwater studios at BNN, and excited to talk mostly basketball. We'll sneak in a little football talk today as well. George Halani at the Combine. We got Dirk Cutter, Spencer Danielson, their pre-spring press conference coming up on Thursday. But based on the record viewership here right now, Mike Prater, as we kick off this show, they either were expecting 2 sexy-looking dudes or they're very excited about basketball in this town right now because it's a big week ahead and we got great viewership. So excited to go here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly why you start this show off every week with me. Monday morning with Prater is kind of a tough deal. Mondays are already painful enough, but thanks for absorbing the blow, and thanks for having me, BJ. Let's get after a big week this week. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, I kind of joke, but I'm kind of serious, Mike. We have great viewership already on a Monday morning. We got Boise State coming off 5 wins in a row, a big win on Saturday, big senior night tomorrow. You saw the crowd. That was not only as big of a crowd, but as loud and energetic as a crowd as I can remember all season for sure. It certainly seems like this town is buying in, and we'll see tomorrow. The 9 o'clock game's a little bit of a buzzkill, but it seems like a lot of folks are super excited about the team and the direction they're going at this point in the season, Mike.
Absolutely. I mean, what's there not to love with this basketball team right now? The way they're playing as a team collectively, the way individuals are rising up, the big four. How about the Big Four flexing their muscles consistently across the board and, almost making this not an individual effort, but a really nice team effort on Saturday. So I know we're going to dive into that game, but there's a lot to love about this basketball team. Even the program itself, let's just go beyond the team. The program itself has never been healthier, and Leon's got it going on. Great crowds and really cool support. And yeah, tomorrow night won't be the best in terms of crowds, but there'll be a lot of people watching, a lot of people listening, and I think there's a lot of people buying into this basketball team right now.
Mike says, what's the hat I'm wearing and where can I get one? This is the Capital 11 blue and orange store. It's the only blue and orange thing I'll ever wear, Mike Prater, and it's for a sponsor here. So it is not a Boise State hat, but it is blue. We can say it's for Denver Broncos. How about that? But it is for our title sponsor here, Capital 11. You can see on the back there, it says Capital 11. And we appreciate Travis Hawks with the blue and orange store for his sponsorship of BNN and Mr. Gardner, the whole crew. We appreciate them at Capital 11. We're actually looking to hopefully get another show out there at some point here in the near future, Mike Prater, on maybe after the basketball season to preview the spring game or something. But I know they were asking about getting us out there again. We'll try to pull that off here in the near future if we can. But I was super impressed, Mike. 2-point game at the half the other day, and then the second half they just kind of imposed their will, and it ended as a 10-point game, but it was really a much bigger margin than that. There was a couple of weird foul calls like in the last 30 seconds that let New Mexico get it to 10. It should have been more, and that second half was just absolutely dominant. Boise State 17 offensive rebounds. There was multiple possessions where they were just missing 3 or 4 shots, but it didn't matter because they kept getting it back and putting it in. And just the effort they were playing with, the intensity they were playing with, for a team like New Mexico that really, really had to have that game. I thought they came out and just didn't have a ton of energy, especially in the second half, coming off a bye week as well. And these last 5 games, man, Boise State just on a roll. Another big win on Saturday. And I mean, it's for all the years there's been talk about Boise State fading in March and doing all this. And I know it's one game in March, technically, whatever. But these last 5 games, you could not be feeling better about how this team is playing going down the stretch here, which isn't something we've always been able to say.
No, I would agree with that. And if there was one bugaboo about Saturday, I know offensively Boise State dominated that second half, but they also gave up 46 points on something like 45% shooting. So, I'd like to have seen it turned into a track meet, and Boise State offensively responded, but I'd like to see them tighten up that defense a little bit to me. So 45 plus points in one half is just a little bit too much for me. And I thought Boise State played such a dominant game there that's the one little thing you could probably pick on, but that's a very small thing. This basketball team looked really good on Saturday, and there's a lot of high hopes. I have no issues whatsoever thinking that Boise State's going to win tomorrow. We'll see what happens Friday night in San Diego, but if this team can pull off 3 consecutive victories to finish the season, that's a pretty impressive feat right now.
And I got a weird feeling. I don't know why, Mike Prater. I've always, for whatever reason with Utah State, just been expecting them to come back to earth at some point. And maybe that's wrong of me. They've obviously got to this point, but I got a weird feeling, man. New Mexico, now they really have to they have to win in Logan on Saturday to help their chances for the NCAA tournament. It would not I'm not quite there that I'm going to predict it, full out say it, but it would not shock me at all if New Mexico goes to Logan and wins on Saturday. They're going to be playing for their NCAA tournament life. I think Boise State has a real chance here to win this conference. I think that, certainly they can at least get a share if they win both these games. But I think that something weird's going to happen this weekend, and I think we're going to look up and Boise State's the number 1 seed in the bracket. I think there's a real chance that could happen.
That'd be awesome. That'd be a great for a storyline here, but I am buying into Utah State, and you've seen them a lot more than I have, but the 3 or 4 full games, and certainly the games against Boise State that we've seen, I like them. I don't want to say a team of destiny because they're winning all these close games, but I think they're well coached, they're well played, they're smart kids, it's a good basketball team. So I'd love to see if there was a way that Boise State and Utah State can meet in the Mountain West tournament, maybe in a championship game. We'll see how it plays out. But I'm buying Utah State. I think Utah State's pretty good, and I was really disappointed in New Mexico and the way they played. And there's a bunch of individual stars on that team. I'm not sure how well they're playing as a team. So we'll see how it shakes out. I think Utah State's the complete opposite of that. I think they play as a team, and they're really, really good. Osabar is really, really good right now, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But I'm buying Utah State, no doubt about it.
Is this team I know we joked earlier in the season about the whole super team reference and all that, but you see like where this team is, the last 5 straight double-digit wins at this point in the season. And I know the schedule has partly to do with this with some of the other teams they played, but to win by 30 points a game in those 4, you see what they did in the second half the other night. I mean, Degenhart and Stanley both with 20-plus points again. Abo and Rice were both over 15 points. I mean, there's just this weird feeling, man. It seems like they really are clicking at the perfect time. All these guys are rolling. And maybe we have to reserve the super team to whether or not they win that first game in the NCAA tournament. But bingo. With the way that Leon Rice and everybody mapped it out, I don't think the 8 games before they've lost whatever really matters. I mean, they just seem like they're playing their best basketball of the season at the perfect time here.
No, they are. They're playing great basketball right now. There's no doubt about that. But you're right. It does come down to what they do in the postseason. So I don't even expect them or care. Well, do I expect them to win a Mountain West championship? No. Do I want them to? Of course I do. And do they have a chance? Absolutely. But I don't need them to win the Mountain West tournament. I mean, if you obviously need to get into the semifinals, and getting into the championship game would be a pretty significant deal for this team, and they need to do that. But nothing has changed for me. They could be 0-35 or 35-0, and it just comes down to that NCAA tournament win. And Leon Rice just constantly has to chase that ghost, and it's just. His program is better than that, but at the same time, if you got a great book and there's 300 pages of great content, but your cover stinks and it's stupid and it's dumb and it's offensive, that's not a good book. They need to close the deal on this, and the deal is absolutely an NCAA tournament win. But the confidence is there, and if we feel it, I guarantee you the team's feeling it, and that's more than half the battle right now, BJ.
After the game, I had a chance at these home games. I get a chance sometimes to talk to the opposing coach or a player on the opposing team, and I like to get their perspective of Boise State and what we're seeing and what they're seeing from the opposite side. So put together a quick little couple sound bites here, Mike Prater, from Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Richard Pitino, the coach of New Mexico, speaking after the game, their thoughts on Boise State in the game.
They were just a more physical team. They were able to physically, push us around. And, and if we're not locked in on the game plan against a team like Boise, they're going to make you pay for it. And their bigs made us pay for it. Even Buzo, who had, I don't know how many rebounds he had, but he had a lot of rebounds that are on the guards that are on us. So we just got to go back to the drawing board, focus on tomorrow, and just continue to get better. Because, we do need one of these road games.
Well, credit to them. I mean, I thought we were really ready to go and played a really good first half. Second half, we had some really, really costly turnovers, allowed them to get dunks. Then we got in foul trouble, and it was really hard to stop those 2 bigs. We allowed them to go baseline. Our help was coming from the guards, coming towards the middle, and we made a couple of miscues there. But I thought we certainly showed great fight. They're big. We're obviously not that big on the perimeter, and we got to continue to work to develop that through recruiting and obviously with some of our younger guys. But they overwhelmed us with the rebounding. I thought our defense in the first half was really good, but they were rebounding the ball. I mean, Buzo was just flying over our back, not in an illegal way, but we were just not hitting them well enough. So they're a really good team, and we'll watch that film. We'll take tomorrow off, and we'll just get back to work.
How tough was some of those possessions where they'd have 2, 3, 4 offensive rebounds?
It's killer, man. It's killer. It's like if you play such good defense and then you don't finish it with a rebound, they get wide open threes, wide open layups. So it's detrimental to our defense for sure, because we played pretty good defense throughout the year, and for us to not be able to finish possessions and finish rebounds and give up 17 offensive rebounds is pretty pathetic. So we just gotta go back tomorrow and go to the drawing board.
I certainly feel like when we play Boise, their size overwhelms us. And, you could say, well, you could go with JB or True, and, JB wasn't hitting shots, so we tried True a little bit. But, they overwhelm you with their size, and they just attack the glass.
Man, I think they're right there. I mean, I think I like playing here, man. I mean, the crowd gets into it, man. They talking on the sidelines, man. That's what college basketball is about. So this is a great place to play. I like playing here.
They're tied for first in the best the league's ever been in the history of the Mountain West. So I don't know who's talking about them. I've got a lot of respect for what Leon's built over the years. I think they're guys. They're talented. Stanley was a phenomenal addition. So they could beat anybody. So I don't know how they're talked about nationally. I know the Mountain West has got a lot of love, but if you're the best first place team in the Mountain West, you deserve that recognition.
There he is, Richard Pitino. And by the way, 12 rebounds for Chibuzo Abo coming in from the guard spot. And New Mexico, very talented team, Mike Prater, but just a lot of smaller guards. And it seems like, even with Max Rice being 6'5" and Buzo being 6'6", 6'7", and it just seems like, Boise State now has the sweep over New Mexico. And sure, it'd be tough playing a team a third time in the conference tournament, but it does seem like for whatever reason, Boise State's just, New Mexico's not it's not a good matchup for New Mexico, and it looks like a decent matchup for Boise State.
Yeah, and those offensive rebounds on Saturday were, I thought, the most impressive part of this game. Abo and then Omar Stanley just crashing the boards, and Boise State just dominating on the offensive glass was really, really impressive for me. So that's my one big takeaway is how good they were. And usually that's kind of Max's deal. Max is the guard that's usually getting 3 to 5 offensive rebounds and doing a nice job. But Stanley and Buzo had a great job rebounding. The offensive glass was spectacular on Saturday.
Yeah, Abo had 5 offensive rebounds himself, and Stanley had 6. And again, there were possessions where there was like 4-on-1 possession. They just kept missing easy shots, but kept getting the rebound. There was nothing that New Mexico could do about it. So super impressive win. Boise State's 5 wins in a row, and now we turn our attention to the game. Oh, let's look at the standings real quick first, and then we'll turn our attention forward here, Mike Prater. But Boise State, Utah State tied at the top at 12-4 in the conference standings. Nevada, San Diego State, and UNLV a game back. And Mike, everyone's talking about the Boise State-Nevada game tomorrow night, but San Diego State and UNLV play as well. So that's at UNLV. So there, that's going to be a really interesting game. So one of those two teams is dropping down to 6 losses. Nevada would drop down to 6 if they were to lose. So I think there's a chance Boise State, if UNLV beats San Diego State, I guess not, because UNLV would only have 5 and if Boise State would have 5, they would have the head-to-head tiebreaker over them. But a lot to figure out this last week, a lot of big games here. But again, you hate to say like what could have been, but if they had just won that first Utah State game, they'd be 2 games up in the standings right now, and just sitting so pretty. But Omar Stanley, for how great of a free throw shooter he is, would like to have one back. And they lose that game. But with that said, whether it's 1 seed, 2 seed, however it plays out, Mike, to go into the last final 5-6 days of the regular season here, tied for first place in arguably as hard as this league has ever been. I mean, I think Leon Rice is right about where they would have taken earlier in the season.
Absolutely. Even with a couple losses. So, I think at one point we were all thinking Boise State would finish with 5 losses in conference play and maybe even the champion of this conference. And it very well could be Utah State and Boise State. I know they each have 4. They're tied right now, and we'll see how it all plays out. But, I think they're slightly ahead of maybe where we had, and the expectations were high. And if you can meet those high expectations, especially as we enter March, it's a very good thing. So Leon's got to be very confident with this team, and tomorrow shouldn't be a problem. Get a little bit of rest, go down to San Diego on a rare Friday night game and take care of business down there, and then certainly get yourself ready for the tournament next week. I like the way this schedule's worked out, and even the Friday thing works out well. It gives them another day or 2 of rest, and that's important this time of year.
No doubt about it. All right, let's senior night tomorrow night. Let's turn our attention to the seniors, Max Rice in particular, his legacy at Boise State, and let's take a quick 90-second timeout. We'll be right back here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just 1 day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. CUI more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com. Matt will join us, by the way, 9:30 tomorrow with Jay Tust and I as we get set for the game tomorrow night. Bronco Ray saying, how many times will BJ mention the Stanley missed foul shot? Lots of other reasons they lost the game. No doubt. But when it comes down to it and you're 7 seconds from a victory, that's just the play that everybody remembers. He's not the reason they lost the game. There were a lot of other things that happened in that game, but certainly that's what stands out. And then letting the Martinez go coast to coast for the layup there with 1 second certainly hurts. But all right, Mike Prater, senior night tomorrow, Nevada. There's a couple members of the senior class. Mohamed Silla, obviously a guy that came in as a transfer, has not really been able to get on the court much and do anything. Sam Winter is a walk-on that's going to be honored tomorrow. Cam Martin comes in for his 1 year here, and then Max Rice. And then also Chibuzo Abo is going to walk, but Boise State has done this. Max Rice walked last year. Abu Kijab walked a couple years ago and then came back. So you never know what's going to happen. You want to let him have his senior night. So Chibuzo Abo will walk tomorrow as a senior and be honored, but I don't think that necessarily means he's gone. I would fully expect him and Tyson Degenhart, for that matter, to declare for the NBA draft. Why would you not? Go do some workouts, get some free NBA gear, and then I still think the expectation is Buzo comes back, but I don't think it's 100% kind of up in the air. But we do know this will finally be the final home game of Max Rice's career. Mike Prater, it's been a memorable up and down type career for Max Rice. What are your lasting thoughts, memories of Max Rice heading into his final home game tomorrow?
The roller coaster ride of emotions, and there was certainly that on display on Saturday against New Mexico. A couple of great things, a couple of head scratchers, and it's just Max being Max. And I turned to the wife as we were watching the game together, and I said, I'm going to miss Max, just the entertainment factor alone. Now, I'm not even talking the basketball factor and what he's meant to this program and where he's come and what he's emotionally had to overcome. He's had to be twice as good as anybody else, and sometimes it doesn't always look like that because of, obviously, the relationship with his dad. But, Max Rice, as I think this community has fallen in love with Max Rice and what he's done, the perseverance. Tomorrow night, he'll tie the Mountain West record. I think it's with the Maldonado kid out of Wyoming, 157 career games. He'll go down as the most games played in the history of the Mountain West Conference and probably number 2. He'll pass Jimmer Fredette here eventually for most wins all time. Jimmer Fredette's number 2. I don't think Max can get to number 1, but he can finish most games played, second most career wins in the history of the Mountain West, and the ride, the ups and the downs and the rides. If you told me that Max Rice could have been a smooth sailing machine, I don't think I would have taken it. I like the ride. It fits perfectly for Max and the emotions of the good and the bad. I'm going to miss that dude. So tomorrow night, I know it's a 9:00 start. That sucks. That's too bad. I'll be there. We'll all be there. And it's important to get there. Not only KJ Mack, we got to mention KJ Mack and his final game as a PA announcer at Boise State, but all eyes tomorrow will absolutely be on Max Rice.
Yeah, you guys had KJ on your show. He's actually coming on my pregame show tomorrow night before his final game. But I got the game notes here from Nate Lowry up on the screen, Mike Prater. I don't know if you can see him or not, but the fans can see him here that are watching. It's got your stat you mentioned about the wins all-time by a Mountain West player. He's at 109 right now, tied for 4th. Jimmer Fredette and Nathan Mensah from San Diego State are at 112. So he's 3 wins behind them. You mentioned Seiko being at 120. And I know people with some of these stats will say, oh, he had a whole extra season. It's COVID, whatever. But it still is what it is. And the other thing is, Mike Prater, he's the winningest player in Boise State history. He has won more games than any player in Boise State history. He's the only one over 100, and he's 9 points away from getting into the top 15 all-time in scoring as well. So you're going to have a top 15 scorer. You're going to have and he's got a chance to get up to, Ron Austin's at 1378, probably not going to get there, but he could get into, 12, 13, I think, in terms of all time. But top 15 in scoring, the winningest player of all time. And, part of this golden era here as Boise State continues to make, looks for their 3rd straight NCAA tournament appearance. I mean, I know, as you said, some fans will just never give Max Rice the credit he's due because of who his dad is, and that's fine. But when it's all said and done, he's going to be, I don't know if legend's the right word, but he's one of the best players in the history of this program, one of the most impactful players in the history of this program, whether some of the detractors want to believe that or not.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about that. And for a kid to come out of Idaho high school, where Idaho high schools don't have a lot of great success in terms of sending successful players off into college basketball, So, I think it's great. He certainly cements himself as one of the greatest high school basketball kids from the state of Idaho who went on to have a college career. He's on a lot of lists. He might not be number one on any of those lists, except for games played in the Mountain West. That'll be number one and probably number one forever, obviously because of the COVID season, but that's okay. Max Rice is certainly on a lot of lists. He's done a lot of things. His career is spectacular. If you're still whining and bitching and complaining about Max Rice at this point, that's a you problem. That's a big-time you problem. We could nitpick his game to death. I get it. But as I said, that's for me, that's the beauty of his game. I don't need Max Rice to be a perfect basketball player. I enjoy the wild ride with him, and I enjoy the ups and downs, and that's just who he is, and we have to embrace that. So get over it. Max Rice has been a great ambassador to this basketball program, and it's going to be sad when he's not playing after tomorrow night at home anymore.
And I think that's why a lot of people believe one day this could be the not just the Leon Rice court, but it could be the Rice family court when you factor in what Max has done and having another brother on the team in Cade. And obviously Robin Rice, the coach's wife, is very involved in terms of meals for the players and being there as, a team mom and things. So, the whole Rice family has been so connected for so long here. And with what Max has done, I mean, I don't know. Gordy Presnell is one of the winningest coaches also. So maybe it's the Presnell and Rice family courts. I don't know. But at some point, that court's going to get a name. And I think that the Rice family has to be included on that because of what they've done. Cam Martin, Mo Silla, Sam Winter. I mean, any other thoughts on the senior class? And I guess maybe we switch it to Buzo. What are your thoughts on Chibuzo Abo and his future? And again, when you see some of the shots he hits, Mike, at 6'6", and the way he shoots three, I mean, he could certainly be a guy that would be intriguing in some private workouts for NBA teams. But what do you think about Buzo and the chances he's back next year?
Oh, boy, what are the chances that he's back? I'd say 51%, and I'm not even sure he knows the right accurate number right now. He's not an NBA player right now. He's not an NBA player. And I know you're close to him and you talk to him all the time. We had him in studio just a couple of weeks ago, and obviously he's going to go off and declare for the NBA and get that fancy social media graphic, and everybody's going to go, uh-oh. But, if that's the process, he can come back, and we all understand that now. And he needs to go off and do that. He's not going to – nobody's going to tell him that he's an NBA player. So does he want to work and toil in the G League for a couple of years? Does he want to work and toil in Europe sometimes and maybe give up on that NBA dream? It seems like the NBA is certainly a dream for him, and I think he's close. One more year back at Boise State. Maybe I'm being selfish. Maybe I'm being jealous. One more year back at Boise State might launch him into that NBA category. I don't see him right now. Right now, I don't see him as an NBA player, but I can see it in the future. So I hope he goes out and dabbles, and I hope he comes back for another year at Boise State, and let's see what happens. There's a chance, as you know, that this basketball team next year, if all the right pieces come together, holy cow, it could really be better than this team that we have this season.
I had a prominent booster that's very connected to the program, very whatever, tell me, like, if everybody comes back that could next year, like, he used the F word, the F words, the F words. Final Four. Like, I mean, you think you think about the talent they could have where they are right now in this league, and we'll see how they schedule next year. But if you have another year of Tyson Degenhart, Abo, Stanley all together, and what Roddy Anderson is doing, like, they would clearly be the best team in the Mountain West. There's no way the Mountain West is going to be as good next year. I don't think it's possible. And yeah, is that, a little bit hyperbole, whatever, fine. But I mean, I certainly think next year's team could be better. If Meadow stays and gets better and you bring back all four of those starters and you really only lose Max Rice and Cam Martin and you add in the Peanut Carmichael, who's just scored 51 points a game at the high school level, Chris Lockett and Ugbo are both supposed to be contributing players. I mean, yeah, nobody wants to hear me say this. If Mike Hopkins gets fired at Washington, I certainly think Leon Rice's name is at least going to be listed on all the candidate lists and all that. But if Leon Rice stays and if this team, brings back a lot of these players, and they finish this season strong the way they could, all this 8 months of hype for football that we have right now going into next season, I mean, on a basketball side, it could be just as big, if not bigger, based on the roster, Mike. I mean, the future, it doesn't seem like this train's going to slow anytime soon here.
Yeah, but it all has to fall together, as you said, and there are lots of moving parts, but I think the potential could be pretty good. Let's go ahead and finish on this season and focus on getting that NCAA tournament win. And you're going to have to go out and probably find a Rena big man, somebody that can get inside and muscle around.
I need a three-point shooter, too. I need a sharp shooting three-point shooter with Max Rice leaving.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, and Abo can certainly give you some of that, but I've been saying all the time, like, I kept thinking about this Case Wynot kid out of Lapway who led the nation in scoring this year, just won a state championship I know it was a small school kid, but he kind of he's going to Utah State. He kind of reminds me, he's 6'6", kind of reminds me of Sam Merrill, the kid that's now in the NBA, who just stands out at the perimeter and just kills you. 6'6" perimeter shooter. If this basketball team had everybody coming back next year that you did, and they had a Case, why not, kind of sharpshooter from the perimeter, that would be spectacular. So it can't always be Abo because he's got a multi-versatile game that needs to go inside and do some other things. But if they had that deadly sharpshooter, this basketball team would almost be unbeatable. That'd be crazy.
Believe it or not, Mike Prater, a week from tomorrow, we're leaving for Las Vegas, 8 days away. I cannot wait for this. We're going to be doing shows all week. You guys will be set up in the sports book one day for your show. We'll be out by the pool. It's going to be just an unbelievable week next week in Las Vegas. And it's all come together, Mike, when we planned this 2 or 3 months ago with the team ascending right now and the excitement for the tournament. I mean, it could not have probably gone much better than we had hoped for getting down to Vegas next week. So hope you guys will join us 10 to 5. We'll be out at Pacific time. We'll be out there next Friday for the BNN KTIK pool party. Mike Prater and Johnny Mallory are going to be set up right there by the pool. They're going to have their broadcast. You can stand around, have a drink, listen to their show. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be some giveaways and things. We'll have some food and drink for paying subscribers. We're going to get a raffle for a Tyson Tegenhart autographed mini basketball from ICCU. We got some other stuff as well, Mike. I know I was talking to Johnny. You guys might be getting the fans involved in some segments maybe, or we'll just be having a lot of fun down there and getting to meet some fans and hang out with everybody, and that'll be semifinal Friday. We are doing this win or lose, Mike Prater, so if the Boise State does fall on Thursday, I know it'll be a huge buzzkill, but you can party off and drink off your sorrows on Friday and come hang out with us either way out there at Stadium Swim at the pool. So this is a $40 or $50 cover charge. We will get you in for free if you email rains@bronconationnews.com. And Mike, we've been hyping this thing up, and it's 10 days away or whatever it is. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's going to be way more than a lot of fun. So this is right up our alley, and I love it. This will be my 3rd time back at Circa. I know you're a regular. I love Circa. I love hanging out there. It's a really cool vibe, and that Friday is going to be spectacular. It's going to be one of our favorite shows of the entire year. So hope to see a lot of people, and thank you for putting it all together. And Johnny and I are very, very excited to make this happen. So a week from tomorrow, are we leaving? Holy cow, that's crazy.
And Mike Prater's getting the limo treatment. You missed it last time, but the Circa limo is picking us up at the airport. I mean, I changed my flight just to be able to be on the same flight as you and Johnny so we can make sure Mike Prater gets the limo experience. I don't know if they'll have tequila in the limo, but they certainly have some other kinds of booze. We'll certainly have a drink for you, Mike Prater, ready to go on ice. But again, we already have over 120 people, I think, RSVP'd. Like, this thing's going to be, we're taking over Circa Stadium Swim. We got a whole pool reserved. It's going to be a lot of fun. Mike, let's talk football for the last 5 minutes or so. We got 5-10 minutes. I do want to thank a couple of our quick sponsors real quick. Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. Do what the Rains family did. We went online, found 2 vehicles we liked, did our research, went on in. We knew which 2 we wanted to test drive. We picked this F-150. We couldn't be happier, and you will be too at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. Taco Bell, they're hiring, and they are, it's pretty cool, actually. Not only are they hiring, but the benefits they offer. You get free food, and you get half your pay the very next day after your shift. So if you need some quick cash, you don't want to wait 3 weeks for that first paycheck, they'll give you half your wages the very next day after your shift. You get free food while you're working as well. Check them out, TacoBellWorks.com. Again, this is a Blue and Orange store Monday, so appreciate Travis Hawks and company. Go check them out, the Blue and Orange store there at the Boise Town Square Mall, the 2nd floor next to Pro Image. Shirts, caps, jerseys, bumper stickers, you name it, they got it at the Blue and Orange store. And again, if you're not in the Boise area, you can go online, theblueandorangestore.com. They got daily deals and things on there and free shipping any order over $40. So next time you're thinking Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store. And transportation compliance service, you looking for a job? The trucking industry is booming right now, and this is a locally based company that's a national company, transportation compliance service. They take care of all the paperwork, overweight permits, DOT permits, everything you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Let the professionals take care of it for you. 75% of folks that try to do it themselves end up going out of business. So transcomservice.com, they got all the information on the website there. Check them out and support a company that has supported Bronco Nation News since day one. And I already saw somebody say they're already got the coffee going for tomorrow's 9 p.m. tip-off. make sure it's broncobrew.coffee. Broncobrew.coffee, supporting Boise State University athletics with every sip. A couple of bucks of each bag goes to the NIL game at Boise State, and they're an official sponsor at Boise State as well. So appreciate them and their support of Bronco Nation News. They're doing tastings at offices and things like that. So if you're looking to get more information, check them out, broncobrew.coffee, and or reach out to me and I can get you in contact with Scott Anthony and the crew there. They do a great job, and we appreciate Bronco Brew Coffee. All right, Mike Prater, we got a couple minutes left here. We got the press conference on Thursday. Spencer Danielson and Dirk Cutter. I want to talk about George Holani as well, but the final week, a week from right now, we'll be watching a spring football practice 1 week from right now. So I know you guys are doing your countdown of the biggest players, but what storylines, I guess, in terms of Thursday's press conference or just going into spring ball next week, since we won't talk to you again until that first practice is underway. I know Malachi Nelson, all eyes are going to be on him, but what are just your thoughts a week away from the start of spring practice here?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Dirk Cutter on Thursday and try to figure out exactly what was the motivation. I think we can kind of figure it out, but you never want to put words into somebody's mouth. And I was a little stunned, and I was frankly a little shocked that Dirk Cutter came back. And yeah, I had to eat a little crow because I kept saying, as you know, we all probably thought we were thinking that Dirk Cutter's not coming back. He's firmly retired, and we addressed it with him a couple of times in the offseason, and he just laughs and said, "No, I'm done." But you know what? The toys, the Spencer Danielson connection. Probably misses a little bit. I just want to hear from his own words exactly why he felt like he needed to come back, wanted to come back, and what was the enticement. So, and then Spencer Danielson making the commitment, getting him a $400,000 paycheck for 9 months, and putting all this together. I'm pretty fascinated by the whole Dirk Cutter thing, and we'll talk to them on Thursday. I know we're going to break down camp. There's always a player here or a player there that might be missing or leaving or hurt. And we get some roster news as well on Thursday. So I can't believe a week from today we're going to be watching football practice. We'll watch it for a couple of days before we head down to Vegas. And, oh, my goodness, the next month is going to be insane, BJ.
Kay Foster says, the basketball team has been so good, I completely forgot Dirk is coming back, LOL. Come on now. Come on now.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
And there'll be one, it's just going to be so weird. I almost wonder why they didn't push it back even further. I know the transfer portal has something to do with that, but they're literally going to have 3 practices and then have the 10 days off for spring break or whatever. But then when they come back, it's like 3 to 4 weeks and maybe 4 weeks of like Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday practices. So they're getting 3 a week and they'll get into a nice rhythm there after spring break, but kind of unique here, pushing it back a week with Dirk coming in. We should have already been starting, I think today or this week would have been the first practice. Or maybe even the end of last week. I think this is right about the time they would have started. So they pushed it back a week. And yeah, there's going to be a lot of storylines based on, and I still don't know what we're supposed to say about this, whatever, based on some conversations you and I and a couple others have had, Mike Prater. I believe we're going to get some pretty good access this spring. I believe we're going to get a chance to see some more team periods. My understanding is Monday's practice, since they know we're going to be gone at the basketball tournament and miss 2 practices. I think most, if not all, of Monday's practice will probably be open to the media. So I think from that standpoint, we're moving in a positive direction, hopefully in terms of coverage, which helps us, but ultimately comes back and helps the fans.
Oh, absolutely. And if Monday goes as we think it might, in terms of as much access as we can, we're going to be watching Malachi Nelson throw the football live for the first time right alongside the coaches. I mean, he may have thrown for them a little bit off to the side here and there, and maybe in some warm-ups or some drills, but getting on a practice field, an official practice field, and Malachi Nelson out there throwing the football, which is going to be the biggest storyline by far. I don't even know if there's a number 2 storyline. It's not Ashton Genty. He's just going to kind of glide through spring camp and just not get hurt and just kind of do enough to get by. All eyes on Malachi Nelson, and we'll be watching him throw live for the first time just alongside the coaches who will be doing the exact same thing. So it's a really, really rare opportunity. I hope we get to watch the whole thing on Monday, but I can't wait to watch this guy get out on the field and see what he can do. It's not going to wow us. He's a skinny little kid with a decent arm. A lot of growth over these next few months, and it starts on Monday.
And speaking of running backs and Ashton Genty, how about George Holani at the Combine? I know our friend Mike Sanford went out there all week and had some good reviews, and I've seen multiple people say in terms of the on-the-field drills and workouts that George Holani was one of the standouts, ran pretty well as well. I don't know if we're quite ready to say it, but do you think the last 5 days has at least improved the chances that George Holani could sneak into the third day there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I still think it's going to happen? No, I don't. But George Holani, we all knew that George Holani was going to test pretty well. He's an athlete, and he's really dedicated to his craft, and he's really smart at what he does. So The fact that he went to the combine fully prepared, and I don't know what he did in terms of behind the scenes in the interviews, but we saw the athletic drills on Saturday, and he belonged. There's a top tier of running backs, 3 or 4 guys that clearly stand out based on their athleticism. And then there's a second tier of another half a dozen guys, and there was 29 running backs at the combine. And George Jelani clearly fits into that second tier based on his 100, based on his, even his bench press. I think he was 3rd or 4th in the bench press with 24, and some of the other shuttle and cone drills and all that kind of stuff. He tested phenomenally. He tested behind the scenes and had conversations that were great and positive. Did he take major strides this week in terms of becoming an NFL draft pick? Yes, but I still think he's got a long work to go. It only takes one, BJ. You know how the process works. It only takes one team to fall in love. So I went from 0% chance to say like 25% chance that George Jelani can get drafted based on his combine performance.
Yeah, just ask Matt Paradis about that. The Denver Broncos fell in love with him, and it was the only visit he took and the only chance he had of getting drafted. And they drafted him, I think, in the 6th round, and he went on to win a Super Bowl, I believe, and do some big things. So Matt Paradis certainly knows how that goes. And just with how many running backs there are, but how much they use them and things, I think there's a chance. 7th round, 6th, 7th round. Like it certainly, I think, as you said, increased the chances and made it a little more exciting here moving forward. Boise State's Pro Day, I believe, is set for late March. It's like March 27th, 28th, something like that. I don't think they've announced that yet, but they do have a date set, so we'll see if George is back here and what kind of running backs coaches or team personnel come to watch that. Mike, I do want to throw in a quick plug, by the way, for the softball broadcast on Thursday. Bronco Nation News, our first live game broadcast. Kennesaw State, Boise State. It's the home opener for Boise State, 5 o'clock on Thursday on BNN. Jay Tust and I will be on the call. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. And Coach Schultz has agreed to be mic'd up and wear an earpiece, and we'll be talking to him while he's coaching third. Mike Prater, I'm hoping he'll let me call a hit and run or something at some point. But it's going to be, this is kind of the future, I hope, with BNN, that we can continue to grow and actually, broadcast more games and do more stuff in the future. And we're starting out with a softball game, and Coach Schultz has been very appreciative and making this happen and helping it happen with some of the access. We'll be talking to him throughout the game in the dugout while he's coaching third, and it'll be kind of a cool deal here. And so home opener, supposed to be sunny, a little chilly, around 40, 41 degrees. But we'll be excited for this. And I hope, folks, even if you're not a diehard softball fan, just because of the access, because of the history we're making, Facebook, X, and YouTube, Bronco Nation News, I hope folks check it out. I know we're going up against the last hour of your show, Mike, but folks can listen to your show and then watch our game later. It'll be archived on all the channels and stuff. But some history for BNN as we continue to grow this thing.
Very cool deal. Very cool deal. I'm looking forward to that. And I know Idaho Sports Talk's going to pop out there later this year as well. So
yes,
what a cool program. And drove by the stadium the other day. They had it all tarped up. It's still spring in Idaho, but it's also softball season. So the next couple of weeks when it comes to following that sport, that'll be fun.
Yeah, and they got the lights going there now, and Coach Schultz is a great dude too. Just in aside from being a great softball coach. So Mike and I mentioned you guys were doing the countdown. You guys have got a lot of coverage of basketball, football as well. What do we got 3 to 6 today on Idaho Sports Talk?
Yeah, we're going to talk a little Max Rice, getting ready for tomorrow night's big game as well. So we're going to get fired up there. I know there's some media availability going on there, and our final 2 of our 15 most important players on the Boise State roster going into spring camp. And we hit Ahmed Hassanin today, and you could probably figure out who's number 1 tomorrow. So we get down to the very last 2 on that series that we've been doing for the last couple of weeks and gearing up for the football season next Monday.
I'm proud of you guys because I thought I was the only guy that stretches things with the 25 countdown all summer. But you guys are doing the pre-spring and then the post-spring. So I'd like to say I had a little my evolution of that a couple years ago had a little bit to do with this. But everybody loves a good countdown list. It's a great thing to help with the coverage, and you better believe we're going to have the BNN countdowns this summer to help us get through the summer. But we'll be listening again 3 to 6 today. Idaho Sports Talk with JP, Bob, Johnny, Prater, the whole crew. So appreciate our partnership. Appreciate you guys, Mike. And I know we're going to be talking here at some point this week, probably to firm up the details for Vegas. Super excited to get down there next week and team up again for some great coverage. And I can't think of a more exciting time. And I mean, you may tell me, but in terms of Boise State athletics, with the basketball team, what they're doing a week away from March Madness in the conference tournament, the football team, the hype there with Spencer Danielson, I can't imagine a more exciting time. And based on 200 plus people watching this right now on a Monday morning, I think it's shown in the interest from fans. So super excited. Hope folks will subscribe. BNN 50 deals, that promo code. We're still offering a full year of coverage for $50. And it's awesome time, and I know KTIK and Bronco Nation News have it covered better than anybody.
Absolutely. And this time next week, this is an exciting week. This time next week, I'm going to be Johnny Ballgame excited, so I can't wait till next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we make that transition from football to basketball and basketball to football. It's going to be so much fun, and we do appreciate your partnership as well and all the things that you're doing. It is a very, very good time to be a Boise State football and basketball fan right now. It's very cool.
This time next week, this may not be a Dr. Pepper I'm drinking. Let's just get the party started and get down to Vegas and have some fun. I'm really looking forward to it. My wife is going to come down. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that. And then obviously the big dance the following week. So Prater, appreciate it. Appreciate JP for braving the elements to get in the studio in time to get us on the air as well. And we'll be listening 3:00 today. Idaho Sports Talk 95.3 FM, 1350 AM, the KTIK app, KTIK.com, all the various ways to listen to their show. And again, make sure you're following them on social media, following us on social media as well. And we'll be listening today at 3. And then Jay Tuss will join me at 9:00 tomorrow. Matt Boucher at 9:30. And as you said, all the seniors, not Buzo, but the other 4 seniors are meeting with the media in various one-on-one interviews today. So I'll have that Max Rice interview everyone's been waiting for today. And then we'll have that on tomorrow's show. So appreciate everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Go tell your friends. Go subscribe if you can. And we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live here at Bronco Nation News.